everything we do is because we love. What can I say? I think once you turn your job into a passion, then you are the winner.
This is the Impossible Podcast, an exploration of stories that broke convention, set new standards, smashed glass ceilings, and redefine the notion of what's possible.
Hello, everyone. I am Ashley Miles, founder and CEO of Franklyn West, a proud girl mom, business game changer, builder and scaler of top consumer media and entertainment companies. And please meet my amazing co-host and dear friend, Megan Rokosh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Impossible. My name is Megan Rokosh. I'm the Global Chief Marketing Officer for Havas Health and You, and we are so excited to have you with us here today.
Welcome to Impossible, a podcast where we give you a seat at the table to uncover and learn from the incredible raw stories of people who have made the impossible possible.
From professional athletes to global pop artists to movers and shakers in business to amazing beauty moguls like we have today, we give you a seat at the table for the real raw stories of those who have made the impossible possible.
I am so excited to introduce today's guest, a dear friend of mine, a huge mentor, and of course, travel partner, Anastasia Soare, CEO and founder of Anastasia Beverly Hills. Anastasia is the CEO and founder of Anastasia Beverly Hills beauty brand, available in almost 2,000 stores internationally with, 20.6 million followers on Instagram and growing. She is known globally as the Eyebrow Queen. Anastasia is a self-made Romanian billionaire businesswoman. And in 2020, Soare was listed as Romania's 4th richest on Forbes. Her first 2 clients for an eyebrow treatment were Cindy Crawford and Naomi Campbell. Other clients have included Faye Dunaway, Jennifer Lopez, and yes, the Kardashians. Anastasia, welcome. Please share with our viewers a little bit about you, your background, journey from childhood to where you are now.
Wow. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so proud of you for starting this podcast. It says so much about you because you have so much knowledge, so much experience in the platform, and creating this platform. I think you will able a lot of people to learn from other people's experience. Because I every time somebody's asking me to tell my story, I feel like whatever worked for me, I don't know if it's going to work for you, but at least you will be inspired. You learn from my mistakes because I've done so many, and it's a wonderful thing to share because I learn myself listening to other podcasts. And I hope somebody will kind of listen to my story, my journey, and will get something out of it.
I love that. And, tell us your story, because I think it's so fascinating from early childhood with your entrepreneurial mother. I remember you telling me in Paris, yes, to your journey to the US. Kind of take us back to your roots and how those experiences have evolved you to who you are today.
Yeah, I think it's important to look at your roots, to look back where you grew up, your childhood, who were people that inspired you. So in my case, my mother was a huge inspiration for me. She was a businesswoman. She never took no as an answer. Remember, I lived in a communist regime in Romania where everything was impossible. Was very difficult, number one, to have your own business, and being a woman was even impossible. But I think there were 2 very important aspects of my mother. Business savviness. Number one, she needed to survive because my father died and we needed to be able to pay our bills. And second, she loved her job. She had a little atelier on like a tailor shop. And with my father, he was making clothes for men and my mother for women. And when my father passed away, I was 12. She took over the business, and she came to me and was like, well, you need to help me because we need to keep this. This is our revenue, and we need to have this working. And of course, I said to my mother, like, Mom, I'm 12 years old. Wow, I don't know anything. And she said, no, you are smart. I will teach you everything. You are so smart. We'll make it happen. Both of us will make things happen. And of course, I didn't believe too much but if my mother constantly was so positive and encouraging, I will try something, I will be afraid, but I remember back of my head was, my mother said that I could do it. My mother said that I'm smart. My mother said that we could do the impossible. So of course I was afraid the first time, the second time, and I start building this confidence that, and I encourage every parent to do that with their kids. I build up this confidence that I'm able to do things that I never ever thought that I will. I was studying technical design, and I went to art school, and I started doing drawing for my mother's clients, how to make their clothes, and it was probably the beginning of the introduction on the golden ratio, where my mother she never knew what golden ratio is, or the theory that Leonardo da Vinci studied the entire human body. But by measuring people every day, she used to say, well, her hips are bigger than her shoulder. We need to add certain elements like shoulder pads to create this perfect proportion. So I think that was the base of who I later on became. I went to school. I was always curious. And remember, we didn't have computer. It was nothing to watch on TV on my time. So I used to go to library and read a lot. I was curious for so many: history, geography, math. I mean, school was incredible in Romania in the communist regime. Probably that was the best thing that came out of that regime. And I had really knowledgeable teachers, and we used to go to classes and learn because it was a pleasure to listen to them. Since I was 18, I wanted to come to America. It was like my dream, the American dream. And of course, was very difficult. We were not able to leave the country. And my husband was in 1987 was able to, he was ship captain. He defected the ship in Italy, and he asked for political asylum. He came in the United States, and I had to wait 3 years to come here. That period of time, he mentioned that, well, you don't speak the language, will be better for you to go and get go to beauty school. And there are a lot of Romanian estheticians in LA that they were professor doctors in Romania. And because of the language barrier, they were esthetician. So I went to beauty school, and in 89, the end of 89, I was able to come to the United States. I still didn't believe that I will work in beauty business, but, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So, of course, I came here. It was the biggest shock of my life because I didn't speak the language. None, zero. And it was very hard. And the first 6 months, I think I cried every single day. It was quite challenging. And I realized we could not go back to Romania, and I had to get a job, and we needed to pay the bill and the bills. And I started working as an esthetician. It was not at the beginning, I didn't think that this is going to be my career for the rest of my life, but I needed to get a job. And I've seen, when I started the first year, I was doing facial and body waxing, and I was quite surprised that nobody paid attention to eyebrows. In Romania was the norm. I used to go to my esthetician, get my facial, and before I would get my facial, she would tweeze my eyebrows. And it was that moment, the aha moment, when I thought, wow, that's why I look surprised in the pictures when I lived in Romania, because my eyebrow was pencil thin and round. So it was the wrong shape. And at that time I thought, oh, let me go and revisit the theory that my teacher in art school was teaching me. And I probably didn't ever think of the human body or the eyebrows in that aspect. So what my art teacher always said, if you want to draw a portrait and you want to change an emotion, you change eyebrows, because eyebrows, it's one element or one feature on our face that brings the balance and proportion if it's shaped correctly. So I started going to the library and studied the entire theory, and I tried to fix my own eyebrows. I wanted to find the perfect shape because it was too round and thin. Once I was able to do that, I could see my client tell me, wow, you look different. You look, I don't know, rested. So they didn't know exactly what it was, but definitely they knew that something was different. And I start telling them that is the eyebrows. And slowly I start kind of convincing my client to let me shape their eyebrows. I mean, it took time, months, days, weeks. And I wanted really to do this as a service. So I went to the owner. They didn't believe in that. And to make the story short, I rented a room in a salon in Beverly Hills, and I started doing eyebrows as well. By 94, I was so busy. I mean, it was very scary, don't get me wrong, at the beginning, because I had the job, like at least a steady job that I would have a salary. And to just a year and a half into being in Los Angeles, I decided to open my own business. Was kind of crazy. My husband thought I am crazy. All the friends and everybody that I knew thought that I'm absolutely crazy. I'm talking about 1992, when eyebrows was not a thing in United States. And I remember my mother said, I said, Mom, I want to open my own business. And she said to me, well, I know it's scary, but what do you have to lose? You could go back and get another job as an esthetician. So she was the one that always encouraged me. And this is what I did. I rented the room, a tiny little room, and I started doing the service. And by 94, I was working like 6-7 days a week, 18 hours a day. By 94, it became the best kept secret in Hollywood amongst celebrities and people, that agents, PR people, and so forth. And in 94 was an article in Vogue about the first book that Kevin O'Quan launched, Making Faces, and he was like the god of makeup at that time, an incredible, talented makeup artist that he transformed a lot of celebrity into somebody else, into characters. And he talked about how important eyebrows were. And a few pages later, it was this woman, Anastasia, that was doing eyebrows. So it was an article wrote by Marina Rust. And it was really amazing. And I think that was the aha moment when it was like the ripple effect. People in the industry, in a magazine industry, they kind of start reading and coming to the salon to find out about this eyebrow. And 96, I was so busy. I thought I could not be here for the rest of my life. This is not my American dream. My American dream was way bigger than this. I wanted to be significant. I wanted to do something more. So I drove around Beverly Hills. I found this place, 438 North Bedford Drive. And I went to the landlord the next day, had an appointment, and spent like 2 hours to convince him to rent me the space, because he couldn't believe doing eyebrows I would be able to pay rent in Beverly Hills. So I got the space, and making a deal with him that if he's not going to be successful in 6 months, I will leave. Well, 2 weeks later, he called me because was a line around the store, being so busy before the store will open. So it became the kind of a trend in not only LA, but I had clients all over the world coming from Singapore, from London, from Paris. Everybody that was visiting LA will have an appointment with Anastasia. And what happened at that time, I used to shape their eyebrows and to create the perfect shape. Let's say they were over tweezed their eyebrows or missing some eyebrow because they had a scar. So different type of reasons. I will fill them in with mixing eyeshadow with aloe vera and Vaseline. So I created this pomade myself. And my clients used to come back 3 weeks later to get their eyebrow reshaped. And they said, well, you definitely shape my eyebrows and it looks amazing when I leave. But once I take a shower, I'm still missing some eyebrows. So I realized that I need to make some products. So I went to Italy and I started creating the Anastasia Beverly Hills products. We launched in 1998, 99 in the store, the makeup. And in 2000, we launched in 20 stores in Nordstrom's. We had the service. And even today, we have the eyebrow service in Nordstrom's and the counter for the selling the products. In 2008, we start launch. No, 2007, we launch in Sephora, then in Ulta, Macy's, Dillard's, Nordstrom Steels, in all Nordstrom's where we have brow studios as well. And so we are in 2,500 doors in United States and 35 countries internationally. It's been a long road, but it's the best thing that I have ever done in my life.
It's amazing, Anastasia, because as you speak, I got goosebumps throughout your story. You say it so casually with this big smile on your face that you come from the background that you come from and you're gracing the pages of Vogue and you've built what you've built. So I have so much respect for you. I'm so proud listening to you. You inspire so many people. And my question for you is, through all of that, because I can only imagine the ups and downs of that journey, you have such a glow about you and such a positive nature, but were there times that you wanted to give up? And what was it that kept you going through all of that?
There were so many nights when I would go home and say, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And I would wake up in the morning and I would start all over again. I think what was keeping me going was this desire to win, number one. I think it's embedded in my blood to not give up. Never, ever give up. Always try to find another avenue. And again, I've done so many mistakes. But because remember, when you start a business, I don't care what business you are, you have to face challenges every single day. It doesn't matter where you are. You are at the beginning, you are at the middle, or you are on top. It doesn't matter. There will be different type of challenges, whatever the stage of your business is. But challenges are every day. I think what you need to understand as a leader or as a CEO or as an owner is you will have challenges every single day. It's the ability of solving them and not being stressed about and saying, okay, let's see, this is the challenge. How I'm going to fix this problem. What are my plans? I always have two plans, plan A and plan B, because when you work to solve a problem, you have plan A, and if you put so much energy into plan A, and if that doesn't work, then it's going to push you back. You will not be happy and will take you double the time to start with plan B. But if you work with both plans in the same time, the moment plan A doesn't work, you switch immediately to plan B, and you hope that plan B is going to be good. And if it's not good, you will go to plan C. But I think the ability of not being stressed and having the power to detach your emotion from the business, I think is crucial when you are owner of a business.
And what point were you able to do that? Because, as a new business owner, and I've been in business for a long time, detaching yourself emotionally is a phenomenal challenge, right? So go deeper on the process of that. Like, how do we do that?
Well, when I started, because obviously I started with the salon, I had the first employees, and you think that if I explain this girl how to do eyebrows, she will know after 4 times, and 6 months later, she still cannot do the eyebrow that way. This is a small example. You need to step back and understand that everybody's different. Everybody sees things different, and it's just the ability of accepting that and trying to find ways to train to build a team that has your vision. I think that's very important, because you cannot grow on your own. You need to have people around you, and you need to, in a way, sometimes you need to step back from the situation and look at this from an outside perspective. And because when you are involved in this, it's quite difficult to take a decision without involving emotion.
Yeah, and I admire this so much about you, because the last time I was in LA at your house, I noticed it's like your team is there. They are extensions of you. They are, family in a sense. And you've really created these business ambassadors, not only with the influencers that you engage with. Yeah. Your employees really feel like they're a part of this company. This is their company. And I think that's very challenging for founders and CEOs as they scale. And you've done that very successfully.
Yeah, I think I always invested in people. I have this desire of helping people to do better for them and for their family. Like always, the way I think sometimes when the other day, somebody told me like, wow, the way you put this problem, because I was saying that I need to take care of me. It was about a plane. The way I think of me, I think of a person that is taking care of hundreds of people and their families. I don't really think of myself in this company. Oh, I am doing this for myself. I don't. I always think that it's important that I am in a good health, in a good time, my state of mind, everything is because I am responsible for all these people, all this family that I build, and their family too. Everybody that is part of my team.
And do you think that natural generosity about you? Because I notice anything I have going on, if I want you to be a part of it, I call you. It's an immediate anything for you. It's this generosity that you. Would you say that this natural quality of yours is a reason also for your success in business?
Yes, I think so. Always, always, always. I remember I had clients that I used to shape their eyebrows, and sometimes was a joke that 50% is shaping their eyebrows, 50 is the business advice, or they always will come with, I want to do this. What do you think? I will tell them my honest opinion. They didn't need to take that in consideration, but I will tell them what I will think is the best. I will try to give them the best advice. And sometimes I will say, you know what? I have a client that is an expert in this field. Give me 2 weeks. I will give you an answer. So I always look up to help women, because my majority of my clients were more women than men, but it didn't matter. I will help anyone, but I wanted to help a lot of women because, and again, that generosity comes from my mother, because she always, when I was little, I used to say, Mom, all these clients are so annoying. You know, when you are a kid, you don't know anything. And my mother used to say, I love to see them looking beautiful and they are so happy when they are dressed. She used to do makeovers. She used to bring the hairstylist to change hair to their clients, especially for weddings. The entire family used to get the dresses done by my mom, and she used to bring the hairstylist and change the color. And
wow.
Was a pleasure, a genuine pleasure that she used to have. And I used to ask her, like, why do you do this? Like, she's like, I love it. I grew up, I started being my own boss. And my daughter that started working with me, she was like, oh, all these clients are so difficult, Mom. Because obviously, Beverly Hills, you have the most difficult clients. And she used to ask me the same question I asked my mom. And I said, Claudia, it's so funny that you ask me, because I used to ask my mom the same question in Romania. And her answer was, I love what I do. And I give you the same answer. I love what I do. It's a pleasure to help all these women. And she couldn't understand. And I said, you know what? Guess what? You will be exactly like me a few years from now. And it's exactly what she is right now. She loves it. Everything we do is because we love. It's, what can I say? I think once you turn your job into a passion, then you are the winner.
Your spirit of service and generosity in your business, it just resonates through everything that you say. And clearly all of your actions as well, because you keep just innovating in beauty in a way that makes everybody feel better about themselves. My question to you is, how do you maintain this intimate relationship with your customer base while you run such a large business today?
That's such a great question. When I was in the salon, and I did eyebrows until like 7 years ago, the company was huge, and I was still doing service in the salon purely because I loved that relationship with my customer. Was almost asking them what is good, what they like, what they don't like, trying the products. Was this relationship that I built for so many years. And when in 2012, when we had a presence on Instagram and social media, I started reading the comments and I started texting and having continuing that conversation on Instagram. I think that was the reason why we're so successful on Instagram at the beginning, when we're the only brand with a presence on Instagram, because we had the experience with the customer in the salon and we moved that on social media, on Instagram. So it's quite easy for me.
Yeah. So just being in your presence, I agree with Megan, you exude confidence, and a lot of that obviously comes from your mother and your childhood. And it would be hard to imagine that someone in your position has an inner critic. Like, it's hard to imagine that you have that voice in your head telling you negative things sometimes. Do you have an inner critic? And if so, how do you overcome her?
Absolutely, I have. Because remember, I grew up with a mother that seeks perfection. Everything, the body needs to be perfect, the dress needs to be perfect, the eyebrow needs to be perfect. If you think about it, this is what I do, it's about perfection. It's about creating the perfect face, the perfect balance, the perfect of everything. So every action for me is obviously it's critical, but it's not. Do you see? I will explain to you what is different about me. I'm very critical in sense of I want to do the best. I wanted to do the best eyebrows. I wanted to do the best pencil for eyebrows. I wanted to do the best. So I will do anything to create that perfection. but I do not sit there and criticize what I did yesterday or a month ago or a year ago. I constantly move. I look forward. I never look back. Do you know what I mean? So I think I don't like to live in the past. I've done mistakes. I've done many mistakes, and I study them because I don't want to do them twice. I like to do a mistake once. I don't accept to do twice the same mistakes.
Very powerful advice for all of us,
Yeah.
right? It's expect the mistakes to happen, examine them through a lens of
Yes.
curiosity and
Yes.
education, and don't let it happen again, but don't get so beaten down when we make a mistake.
What you will realize if you beat yourself? Nothing. You cannot change it, number one. Yeah, it was done. Let everything go. Let's plan for something. So this is the difference with me. Okay, I've done a mistake in the past. Whatever I did. I will study that just because I don't ever want to do that mistake again. And I will try to do something else to be better than what I couldn't make it.
And were you
know?
always that way? Or was there a certain age or point in your career where you were able to evolve?
I think I was always that way. Always I was like, I think this is how my mother kind of shaped my...
Probably growing up in that fast-paced entrepreneurial life where your mom was like, go, let's go.
Yeah.
And even again, being around you, I feel that confidence and that forward momentum. And
let's move on.
like, let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah, like what? I'm not going to achieve anything if I keep crying about whatever had happened a year ago or a week ago. Like, let's move on. Let's do something better.
Brilliant. Megan.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I feel like that should be the hashtag for everybody right now with the couple of years that everyone has had. Hashtag let's move on.
Let's move on.
It's so refreshing, and I love the fact that you're able to just let the past go, but to Ashley's point, have such a sense of humility about the fact that mistakes will happen and own them and adopt them quickly and step forward. So what guides you forward today? Do you have visions that you're still trying to fulfill? Is it your customers, your mother, your legacy? Talk to us about that.
I think I'm a good strategist. I like to stay informed. I like to be adaptable. I'm not, I'm not that type of person that has this tunnel vision and whatever it is, I'm going to stick with this. No, I like to surround myself with younger people. Being in the beauty industry, I like to know what's going on because young people know more than I know. I like to learn constantly. I like to learn. I'm like a sponge. I want to learn. I want to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, that they know more, that I could read, that I could absorb. And then I'm a good strategist. I put all that together and I know what my next step is. What is my 2022 strategy? And I think it's important. And I always listen to my team. I always want to listen because this is what I think is important. I see something through my eyes, but maybe you will see the same situation through your eyes and could be different. If it's logic in what you're going to tell me, I will definitely take in consideration yours compared to mine. So I always involve my team. I like to listen and take the best decision that is good for the company, not for me. I work for Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I detach myself. I never, ever take a decision for the company because of my ego, ever.
So thinking about where you came from and where you are now, it's a multi-billion-dollar beauty business founded by you, scaled by you and your amazing team and daughter, Claudia. Yes. If you could because there's so many component parts that I think make you as successful and as awesome as you are, right? There's so many things, but if you can boil down 2 to 3 of your key superpowers, and I've written them down because I think I know what they are, but I'm curious and I'm not going to share them yet. The 2 to 3 unique things about you that have gotten you to where you are today, what are those things? Only 2 or 3?
So I think I use very wisely every single thing that I learned in school. Okay. I am very resilient. I'm adaptable, very adaptable. And I have this genuine desire of helping and winning in the same time. I cannot be, if you want to kill me, keep me and to do nothing. It is something that I will never, ever, when I hear people like, oh, you're going to retire now, like, no, do you know what retirement plans for me 10 years from now on will be? To work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That's my retirement plan. It's like, I love to work. It gives me so much joy, so much power. I feel empowered when I need to work.
So I couldn't agree with you more on all of those things. My 3 for you were, you're one of the most curious people I know. I remember doing those museum tours with you in Paris, and you asked more questions and had more observations about every little piece of detail, whether it was a piece of art or you're so curious about everything that you engage in that I think people really miss that. They're just going with the flow. They're not actually taking a beat to just be genuinely curious about what's happening.
Yes.
The second I would say is you're one of the most driven people I know. And your work ethic is insane, which I'm sure comes from your childhood and your upbringing. But then third, you just have an incredible, genuine generous spirit about you that I think maybe early days with your clients and then your customers, you're in the weeds, listening and sharing and adding value. And I just think, again, it's 3 things that not all leaders possess that set you apart.
Do you know what is the ultimate happiness in life? Is love and forgiveness. You need to love, show love, and forgive.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You have given us so much to digest. The plan A and plan B, the way that you drive your business with humility and attention to your customer, the mentorship that you received from your mother and the role that played in your life and how you carry that forward today. We end every podcast with the same question. And that question is, what is possible?
Everything is possible. It's just I think the problem that we have in life is just you are afraid to pursue your dreams. Everything is possible, I think. Everything is possible. As long as you have the power to put in action. This is what it is. And to not be afraid to fail. I think people are afraid that they will fail. And in the same time, you need to do something that is realistic. Like me, I want to be Elon Musk, to fly on space. No, I don't have that ability and I cannot dream to do that. But have realistic goals, and understand that it takes time. This is not going to happen 1, 2, 3. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's like a kid. You have a little kid and you think, oh, when it's going to be 1 year old, I have no problem. No, every year is going to be another problem. You have to deal with different things. But it's the best thing ever.
You inspire so many people, Anastasia. You inspire us. We cannot thank you enough for your time. You are a history-making beauty mogul. You have changed the world to be a more beautiful place. You really have. And it's as much through your business as it is through your beautiful spirit and resilience and your story. And you shared that with us today. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I don't know if I am that great, but for sure I changed some eyebrows around the globe.
We love
That's
you.
for sure.
Thank you. We love you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate very much. Good luck to all of you and everybody that is listening. Pursue your dream and don't give up.